What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out some brand new monsters that just got revealed in the OCG Structure Deck Master Link. This is the Structure Deck that's coming out in about 10 days, if I'm not mistaken, the same Structure Deck that is going to give us Shooting Code Talker, and it's really interesting because an ability that some of these monsters have is something we have definitely not seen in the game. A couple of these monsters that Konami just revealed have the ability to be used as link materials while they are still in your hand, which obviously can be extremely good because it means that if you open up with a full monster hand, you don't have to worry about it because you can use these guys to the hand. It also means that you can make use of them without, having to commit your normal summon to them. And I think it's really cool because I kind of thought Konami would save that for some kind of Zodiac level archetype in year 3 of Reigns, but no, looks like they're just going ahead with it. Anyways, this is another structure deck that seems to be focused heavily on the Cybers type. Konami is obviously really pushing that, not just because of Yasaka in the anime, but I mean, all of these starter and structure decks really seem to focus on the Cybers type. So anyways, let's go ahead and break these guys down. We got 4 monsters to talk about. There are 3 spells and traps, but I'll do those in a different video. They got a really nice trap card that's coming out as well. I just don't want this video to get too long. So first monster is Latency. It's a level 1 light cybers effect monster, 0 attack, 0 defense. So you can search it from Sangan, which is Black Forest if you're running that stuff. Also obviously 1-for-1 target. Both of the effects are hard once per turn. The first effect is if this card is added from your graveyard to your hand by an effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's okay. I'm not gonna act like I'm super familiar with all the ways that cybers have of inherently doing that, but I mean, if there are a lot of them, then obviously that can be pretty good, especially when you combine that with the second effect. If this special summon card by its first effect is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can draw 1 card. I think that depending on how easy it is to get the first effect off will really tell you if this card has any potential, because if it's an effect you can't really use that often, there's no way you're going to normal summon this. I don't really see it being that good because you're not going to draw a card unless you send it to the graveyard after it was special summoned by its first effect. So it doesn't really seem that good in that sense, but if you can get it back from the graveyard and just special summon it and continue to link up, draw a card during that time, that's not that bad. Second card is Swap Cleric, and let's see, this is a level 2 Earth Cybers monster, 500 attack and 1000 defense. You might notice that the attributes seem to kind of be all over the place, and that's simply because there's a new spell card that kind of works, and in regards to that, that's one of the reasons why actually all the Code Talker monsters have like different attributes. But this is 500 attack, 1000 defense. Let's see, it is a hard once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can have the monster that used this card as link material lose 500 attack, draw 1 card. I actually like this one a lot more. I understand that it obviously has the downside of whatever link monster you're summoning has to lose 500 attack, but honestly, especially if you're linking up, like if you're going from Proxy Dragon to Borolo Dragon, Proxy to Decode to Borolo or whatever, if you're constantly linking up, like losing 500 attack doesn't really matter if you're going to use that link monster for another link summon. So I would gladly, like 90% of the time, I would gladly give up 500 attack from a link monster to just draw a card. I think that that's a pretty great exchange. A couple of monsters, maybe like Borolo Dragon, that needs every single bit of offense, but for the most part, giving up 500 attack to draw a card, I don't really think is all that bad. So I'll definitely take that. Then we have the new monsters that have these effects where they can be used from the hand as materials. Interesting. The first one is Micro Coder. It's a level 1, so many level 1s, maybe they want Cybers to run 1-for-1. Level 1, Dark Cybers effect monster, 300 attack, 0 defense. The first and second effects are both hard once per turn. First effect says if you would use a Cybers monster or monsters you control as link materials for the summon of a Code Talker monster, so that means, X Code Talker, Decode Talker, Power Code Talker, all of the Talker link monsters, you can use this card in your hand as link material. That obviously is pretty dope. I'll talk about that a little more after the second effect. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard as link material for a Code Talker monster, you can add 1 Signet Speller Trap from your deck to your hand. So this card floats as well, even when you summon it from your hand, which is amazing. Or excuse me, when you use it as material from your hand. Then it continues to say if this card is sent from the field, you can add a level 4 Cybers monster instead. To me, this card is just amazing. I think it's incredibly good. Number one, It allows you to link summon when it's still in your hand, as long as you go for a Code Talker monster. Number two, even if it never hits the field, the card still actually floats. It's going to give you a sign net spell or trap, and obviously that tells you that Konami is going to release more sign net spells and traps. Actually, they have a few of them that they just revealed, but this is an amazing card. I think about like so many archetypes that would want a card like this, where it never needs to hit the field for not only it to float, but for you to actually be able to link summon with it. Like, this is amazing. I think that is actually really cool card design. Then we have the last card, which is Code Radiator. This is a level 4 Water Cybers monster, 1600 attack, 800 defense. First and second effects are both hard once per turn. The first effect is identical to the last card we just talked about. If you would use a Cybers monster or monsters you control as link material for the link summon of a Code Talker monster, you can use this card in your hand as material for that link summon. The second effect says if this card is sent from the hand or field as a link material for a Code Talker monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster's attack becomes 0 and its effects are negated. So that's really cool. It's basically like a better version of Lost. And I'm trying to think, damn, there are so many cards that like have that effect. Yes, there are so many cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That like negate monsters effects, and then there are so many that cut it down to 0. I guess Gorgonic Guardian, I think that, well, that's probably a bad example. I don't know how many people even know that card. We'll go with Gorgonic Guardian. And then it continues to say, if this card was sent from the field, you can target 2 face-up monsters instead. So that's really good. I mean, this one I think isn't quite as good. I would much rather have floatability. Like, I'd rather just be able to search a spell from my deck instantly, especially if I'm using the card from the hand. But I think it's actually still pretty good. I mean, you're basically making one of your opponent's monsters incredibly useless, and then if you pick a link monster they control, then they can't switch it to defense mode, so they have to get it off the field by like link summoning with it. Otherwise you're just going to run it over and they're going to take a mess of damage. But I really like this new design, and I'm hoping Konami is going to bring this to another archetype, a non-Cybers themed, structure deck archetype, like maybe whatever they have planned for Soul Fusion or for the set after that. I kind of like this idea of these monsters that can kind of be used from the hand, but they only, it only works if they're used for like specific link monsters. These guys only work in that way if you're using them for a Code Talker monster. I would like to see an archetype get that ability, but obviously they have to summon link monsters of their own archetype. So you guys let me know what you think. Hopefully this isn't Konami's way of adding more power creep to the game, because I can see this, if Konami starts putting this in too many monsters, it could get actually out of hand and it would be a little ridiculous. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think and leave it in the comment section below. I think the concept is actually pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.